abusuya micha na misanso mo akwaba sonko so enfa me channel so abusuya for had so ye be media judge abusuya Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, yes, our former vice president and also a presidential aspirant for a year MPP election 2024. Abusuya Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia year election 2028. Na abusuya for and there Solomon Owusu, yes, a senior communication officer for then a year movement for change. Now abusuya UP a United Party ababonten. Na abusuya this time round Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ho ache no papa. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia abusuya no kase is in big trouble a enya sam ketwa. Ni na efa Break-Pwalugu Dam. Na abusuya Solomon Owusu ache ne nsemu a. Pwalugu Dam na abusuya omo de ma contract $12 million. Na yade a omo ekodru Bole Junction na abusuya omo chase ka no ma omo ho. Na oche ne nsemu a ohun adekora this administration ni omo Mahama administration. Yes, Mahama administration about to scandals now so abusuya hwe ensi abusuya no wadi nkomo wa expose Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia o che so ono mu order for immediate arrest of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and some MPP appointees abusuya o che $12 million omo acha di kwa che say accountability bia eni ho che so mo first kana di free keke abusuya wono atonsem wa expose Mahama Ado administration 8 years in power abusuya wa expose omo victim na sika or the tuja ho na abusuya wo yembe hyew o cheni semu a this administration Mahama administration in fact so omo bibi yes se omo bibi because enkofuei adi omo wo abusuya we dey ma mekasa wa yenko kokoti so mo na abusuya nsem abusuya dey tuja emra sese a but mo dey so be subscribe na dey ama YouTube channel no bobo notification bell no so for more podcast updates. Yeah, that's it.
Reminds me the mention of Pwalugu. Senna, $12 million choppable dollars was given to a contractor as mobilization to go to site and turn the Pwalugu Dam. His candidate Mahmoud Bawumia told us that Pwalugu was almost done. You remember protocol? Or you have forgotten?
It was done.
Hey! This country things are happening. They go to Bole. I understand they share the money at Bole Junction. $12 million. They were sharing it like biscuit. This former administration. What is this administration doing to apprehend those corporates? Because stealing is thievery. Pure thievery. But this administration must not think that we will forget. We don't have that syndrome. Pwalugu, which was captured by the Auditor General's report, and we cannot go for the money. We have another silly one, you know, from Tabali to Walawale. We had an Indian man who came all the way from India to come and collect our $29 million that he was mobilized to site. You know that? Yeah. That money to us not come. Hey, this country, bah! So they only come and steal. And they want to go after them. So the Pwalugu money must be immediately returned back to the state so that we go back and fix. If they don't want to fix Pwalugu, we can use it for other businesses. We have a lot of issues in this country that we can use $12 million to deal with. Once we do that, Senna, once we do that, we will be fine. I'll end by wishing all our farmers, they are poor. Senna, don't forget, our farmers are also poor. Various administrations have promised of providing a housing scheme. It has not materialized. We need to continue to fight. And we can fight and get them the right results by formalizing the agriculture sector. There are a lot of farmers in this country, we don't even have their data. And to conclude, Senna, you know ADB?
Yes.
What's the full meaning?
Agricultural Development Bank.
Agricultural Development Bank. Senna, thank you very much for providing me with this full name. How did Agricultural Development Bank all of a sudden turn into a bank that only finances people that are going to China to go and bring imported goods to this country? How did we get here, Senna? Somebody must explain to me. that a bank that is supposed to go into the aid of farmers, providing them with what? Cheap financing. When you go with farming business, they don't want to hear. Listen, they are interested in what? Those that are going to either India, either China, either Azerbaijan, either Haiti. What is this? I hope and strongly believe that the new management will take a cue and begin to go back to the founding principle of that bank, which is to go to the aid of farmers. Our farmers, most of them have not been to school. When they come to your place, don't load yourself up on them. Let them feel at home. Take time and listen to them. They did not attend your Legon, your KUST, your Harvard with you. They attended my early. Take your time and explain to them. And Ghana will be a better place. I will end it here.
That is if they are still advancing the loans to the farmers.
Now the bank is collapsed. Where these people collapse it? They don't have money. Oh. But they have told the Minister of Finance that they need recapitalization.
Yeah, the minister says they are recapitalizing some of those banks.
But they have recapitalized NIB and they have declared profit. Recently I saw their audited financials, which shows, but sometimes, you know, this country, they can come and tell you that the best bank of the year, you know, the year that Capital Bank collapsed, they received the best SME bank. You go and receive best SME bank, after that you are collapsed. What is this?
Anyway,
how much of our budget was allocated generally for agriculture? I think it was less than 1%, right? It's about 1.5 billion Ghana cedis, which is woefully inadequate. But it's always been like that. I mean, their administration did worse. They allocated something more paltry than that. And any government that doesn't invest in agriculture, you have no business complaining about the fact that the production is not too good. I'm just saying this to quickly counter a point that my brother Protocol brought up by saying that, oh, population has grown, so there's a need for us to come up with new innovative ways of handling how to feed ourselves. I think that's problematic. I mean, if population grows, it doesn't necessarily mean that you must import anything into this country in the name of it is wholesome. No. I'm still on this GMO case that he seemed to have, you know, made a point strongly that, I mean, if we are living in a house and then the population in the house increases, it doesn't mean somebody else should come and take over the kitchen. Okay. It means that we have to do more buying of groceries in the shop to bring in. It means that we have to produce more in the kitchen. It simply means that we have to inject a lot more money into agriculture. We need to be innovative. We need to have a shift, a drastic shift in policy as far as agric is concerned. And we need to inject a lot of money into that. We need to give farmers, in fact, government itself, like Solo rightly said, needs to go into farming. Government has got every business in certain fields. Okay. Yes, of course, it's a neoliberal market, but government has every business in agriculture. It has every business in healthcare. It has every business in our education. You don't sit back and say, allow players.
Okay,
so
thank you.
So,
thank
yeah.
you. I think a few things. Well, noting that in this budget, the Minister of Finance has announced plans. In fact, it was announced in the last budget. The Roads Minister talked about it. They were going to target roads that are in some of the major farming areas. If they do those work, it will significantly improve when it comes to the pricing of goods and everything. So that's one of the areas. And then perhaps bringing buffer stock back to making sure they return to the job that they were supposed to do. Because that was supposed to do with matters of the glut that we are seeing and buying from the farmers. And then I was reminded also of Dr. David Percy yesterday. He always spoke about the fact that majority of the farmers who do the hard work never really get awarded. That the backbone of our Greek industry are people we call smallholder farmers. Their biggest challenge is security of land. But congratulations to the founder and leader of the Savior Church, who was yesterday awarded the best farmer. Well, we have to move on to our very next discussion, but if you join us, this is the Mother of All Talk Shows, Alaji and Alaji. Don't forget, we are live on Pan-African Television. We are also live on Radio Gold. This is Mohammed Misbahuddin, who says, and I tell my brother Najib that we in the Upper West region are proud of him. Vincent Kingsford Bedu is just joining us. There's Kofi Go says GS is far better without the OSP. And there's Abiu Mandela, who is also joining us, says, good morning. Congratulations to all Ghanaian farmers who toil day and night just to feed the nation. There are several other potential farmers. However, acquisition of land becomes a major issue for them. The government should tackle the issues of illegal mining and sand winning to create an enabling environment for our farmers to thrive. There's Kukubo Steven, who is also joining us in a good morning. Says, Farmers Day was well celebrated yesterday at home. I changed my mind to start farming because of what I saw yesterday motivated me to start farming. And my greetings to our Director of Communications, says Mr. Solomon Owusu, and all members of the United Party. Mohammed Misbahuddin again says, good morning. I always like listening to Mr. Solomon Owusu. So I think the Minister of Agriculture must honor the zero Solomon Owusu mentioned. This is CJ. CJ says, even Bafo Akoto of Matimihum will envy the threat by some MPP elements to import viruses with the intent to frustrate the Nkiti policy of the Mahama administration. These traitors should be reminded that the current state of negative economic affairs in Libya does not exclude Benghazi. Interesting. There's Che Millers, who is watching us. To think GMO, it says it takes a fool to think GMOs are safe. You are classified as a terrorist in Russia for growing GMOs. That's what he sent us. Thank you very much. Keep those comments coming on the issues that we are discussing this morning. We're moving on to the matter of the petitions that we've now heard about. Last week we were wondering whether or not a petition had been received, because the petition we discussed last week was one man's petition. He had gone around the radio stations confirming he is a staff of the Electoral Commission, currently on interdiction. He says he admits.
All right, so for family na no ni kuswa ocean no e be sure say on subscribe ya be subscribe no like no share me dey am afofo so inside to me akabi, and do not forget to click on the notification bell so be any update we be drop bia no so inside to me akabi busa for family no the same good yan ko ni ko tie inside do a the two da e wo family no nso
the basis for that interdiction. But we found out that it was not only the only petition the presidency had. The president actually has 7 for the Electoral Commission alone, 3 for the special prosecutor. Now, the special prosecutor's matter has come under intense scrutiny this week because of what happened between him and Martin Pebu, and has gone to the point of parliamentarians, including the speaker, actually entertaining the idea of scrapping the office altogether, because people are starting to feel that it's not performing the role that it was intended to perform. So we're talking about those petitions, and I'll start from protocol on this matter. He's been very quiet listening to everybody.
Senator, thank you very much, boss. My brother, in his attempt to make it look as though the New Patriotic Party have not done anything, sought to make an erroneous impression that the New Patriotic Party, in terms of its budgetary allocation to the agriculture sector, was paltry. I mean, that was his word, and said that it could not even match up to this particular year 2025 allocation. And we are in a digital age now, so sometimes you ought to be mindful of the fact that you can easily be fact checked. Now, if you take a look at what the 2024 allocation to the agriculture sector was, they actually amounted to 1.063 billion Ghana cedis, by which time, that is 2024, the NPP was in government. I said 1.063 billion Ghana cedis.
Okay. 2024.
Yes. So if you come to look at 2025, 2025 proposed allocation amounted to 1.002.
No. It's 1.54 in total. Please check yourself.
My goodness.
It's 1.54.
Take it from me. It is.
I'm not taking it from you.
I am giving you statistics. Allow me to say it. It is 1.002 billion
Ghana cedis. That is the total proposed allocation to the agriculture sector. So for you to just sit here and just, give out or turn out any kind of figures, and you think that people would have to just, take it hook, line, and sinker, is unfortunate. Now, my brother Solomon sought to, in his usual rendition, try to blow hot air and make people, and make things look as though, the New Patriotic Party was bad and all that. Of course, for me, that has been their modus operandi. Their political parties has actually been formulated or formed, based on just to target one person, no less a person than His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So we are very much aware of them. So if you come and sit here and be, saying all manner of things and doing some, all manner of theatrics, and you expect me to, to rebut you, I'm not going to marry you, because everybody know that, any times that you want to talk about issues, you try to, as much as you can, to rope in the former vice president. That has been your modus operandi, and everybody knows that. Now, coming to talk about the other, issue that you just taken, the petitions, the petitions for the removal of the Mr. Kisia Jabin, that is the special prosecutor. And of course, petitions to remove the three, major persons within the EC. It's unfortunate that you have asked me to start this particular discussion. I wanted to hear the narratives of my other co-panelists, so that I would be able to give a direct kind of rebuttals and whatever possibility they would.
So you don't have any argument of yours.
So you see, to be very honest with you, we as a New Patriotic, as members of the New Patriotic Party, are not surprised as to what is going on. Now, the issues are in two, pronged approaches. So first of all, let me deal with the issue of the special prosecutor, Mr. Kisi Ajabin, who is the current, special prosecutor, is suffering some form of unfairness just because he actually touched the tail of a lion. And people may think that I am referring to
Martin Pebo.
Of course, people will think that I'm referring to Martin Pebo, and of course, that I'm not referring to him. Martin Pebo is just somebody that I admire, but his rhetorics, for me, I would describe this as unfortunate. What I'm trying to say is that Mr. Kisia Jabin, as the special prosecutor, when he was doing his work, people actually lauded his work to the extent that he made certain discoveries and all that. Now, it is important for us to also appreciate the fact that when we are referring to the office of the special prosecutor, the NDC has actually gradually want people to think that performance within that particular office is akin to the number of times that Mr. Kisia Jabin is able to, as it were, put people into jail. That is the kind of false rendition or narrative that has been created by the NDC. So they try to measure Kisia Jabin's performance based on the number of court cases that he has won, and he's been able to put people into jail. That for me is unfortunate. I think that if you are going to measure that, you may be missing the point. You would have to come to appreciate the fact that it is not the case that you must necessarily find somebody or jail somebody that actually would reveal your legal prowess. No. The fact that you are able to make discoveries, you are able to, recoveries, not discoveries. If you make recoveries, that is to say that people are able to come out and then, as it were, pay some kind of monies in one way or the other, in order that there is, we describe this as out of court settlements and all that. So if you achieve that, you are bringing some kind of resources back to the nation. And you see, nobody is fighting for anybody who is actually being seen to be corrupt, or who, you know, manifest in various ways has actually been able to, looted this particular country. So yes, that particular clarion call is very, very fantastic. Anybody who has actually stolen government money must return the money. So whatever policy or program that you are going to put in place to be able to recover that for me is important. But I said that Mr. Kisa Jabin actually touched the tail of a lion. Now, just a few weeks or months ago, they started, you know, to play the kite, where we saw the Deputy Attorney General, you know, organize a press conference. In fact, it was even started by the minister himself, Dr. Dominic Ayine, where he sought to give some form of a response to the General Secretary of the NDC, itself, and not the public. What am I saying? His press conference was actually geared towards addressing some of the direct assault that the General Secretary of the party, directly alluded to him. He said that certain elements or some members of the NDC are cutting deals. So, in order to try as much as he could to be able to absolve himself from that particular, allegation, he organized this particular conference and seek to say that there is nothing like cutting deals. If you read his demeanor, you will realize that he was actually addressing that particular issue to the General Secretary of the NDC, because he was actually, being cited for that. And I'm going to demonstrate that. Now, Mr. Kwame A+, who currently is an MP, had the occasion to say that the Attorney General is corrupt. And for that matter, he cited a particular person who is having a particular case, even currently with the OSP. Who am I referring to? There is this particular business gentleman called Dr. Sledge. Dr. Sledge, having been investigated by the office of the special prosecutor, pointed to a corruption allegation to the tune of 94 million United States dollars hanging on his neck. So what happened? The OSP went and secured, a court warrant for purposes of searching, this particular man somewhere in October 2025. So officialdom got this particular information. They tried all that they could to be able to stop this. This particular narration is coming from Mr. Kwame A+. So we can actually also, try to, fix the dot, and so that we are able to understand this particular pattern. So we are not fools. When